PR Connections Radio presents. This show is brought to you by Paid Per Letter. Write letters and make a difference. paidperletter.com/Uncle Dan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to PR Connections. My name is Guy Dawson, and I am your host. And I am here with a very good friend of mine today. Her name is Penny Tindall, Las Vegas publisher. She is a woman who is extremely prominent in the networking community here in Vegas, a champion of small business, and just a great spirit. Welcome to the PR Connections show, Penny.
Thank you. I'm excited, Guy.
Penny, will you share with the audience about what you do?
So, first of all, UNLV graduate, and I've lived here for many years, since 1989. And what I do is I do local network and magazine and digital system for my local communities. Right now, my Summerlin Outreach is what we are talking about, my Desert Foothills publication. And I'm here to put local businesses with my local communities here in Las Vegas.
And I talk about this all the time, Penny, being in the PR and marketing business for many years. When I got started, we were still reading physical newspapers. I mean, this is back in 2008. Right. So physical newspapers were starting to go away at that time, but it's just been amazing to see the evolution of media for me over the last 16 years that I've been in business, to where, I mean, so much is done digitally now. But one of the things that I've noticed is that local oriented publications are still in print. People still want that connection with their imprint publications when it comes to local oriented things to be printed. Could you speak to that? Why is it that people are still so interested in printed local publications?
Well, I always believed in print. The reason I believe that print is it kind of gives you the tangible product. It also is known that if you see something in print, it is considered more trustworthy. Social media, you just don't know where the business is. Print magazines and stuff like that, you know that it's a local business or they have a local connection. And we talk about content, marketing, content branding, and that's what businesses need to do, is they need to brand their business to our local communities. And that's what our publication does.
Yes, I agree with you, Penny, about the familiarity that comes with a print and the credibility that a person perceives. The fact that it's a printed publication, it's about someone that's in their community. That's a huge credibility builder. And all businesses, credibility is so key, right? So do you find that when you're approaching businesses about doing business with you, potentially, they get that credibility aspect and how important that can be in helping you grow your business?
Yes, correct. A lot of times when I call businesses, which I do all the time, first of all, I want to learn about them because I want to connect with local businesses. Sometimes a print magazine might not be, the best. But what we do is we do print and then we also add digital. So yes, digital is very important, but print for what we do goes directly to the homeowners. It's tangible. They can write content about their business and they can kind of be part of the community, right? And there's so many businesses that, especially during COVID. During COVID, we actually grew. Best Version Media grew extremely high rate. And the reason is you didn't know if the business was still in business. And so if it's coming to your house, because even during COVID, we still was mailing out our publications it had their name on it. So we never skipped a beat. So during COVID, we actually grew because local businesses could get the word out. They could provide local content, and people knew they were still in business, right? Because it's going right to their doorstep every month.
Yeah, there was a way to keep people connected to their community, I would imagine, because during COVID, Penny, it was hard to stay connected with people because we couldn't go anywhere for a long time. But the fact that they had that community hub, which was your publication, I bet you for a lot of people, that was something it felt good to be able to connect with people in their communities. And again, this is another reason why local media is so powerful and why I endorse companies like Best Version Media and what Penny does is because I know the value in that just being able to connect with their neighbors, just knowing, especially during a very stressful time like COVID, that even though you might not be able to physically go and see people in your neighborhood at that time, you were able to stay connected with them through the magazines.
Yeah, and the great thing is for us, we always provide positive content. We don't talk about religion or politics, and we talk about what's happening in our local community. So we just try to stay within our community. And with the Desert Foothills Living, we are in the Summerlin area, but we do a 15-mile and up to 15-mile radius. So local businesses can promote their business, and it's extremely affordable.
Yes, and just to get the opportunity, Penny, again, I have a lot of experience buying, selling media, running a media network. To get the opportunity to be in a printed publication with a distribution of that size, and it being so geo-targeted the way that it is, there's just a lot of advantages out there. What I've discovered, as I mentioned, I work with a lot of people, Penny, is I try to help people buy good media, because not all media is great media, but a business like yours and what you're doing, I think, is so valuable and so good for people. You go out there and you find good media that will highlight you, create that front of mind awareness, build your credibility as a marketer through this particular platform. Is that what you strive for? Just offering people good, strong media?
Yes, like I explained to a lot of small businesses, you need to brand your business. And yes, there are a lot of plumbers, there's a lot of dentists, but we want to keep you top of mind. So maybe they do have their plumber, ABC Plumber Joe, but then if they see my plumber every month and talking about different ways to maintain your plumbing, if ABC Plumber is no longer in business or doesn't answer the phone, then maybe my guy gets the call. And so I always tell local businesses, number one, make sure you answer the phone. A lot of times businesses default because they don't answer the phone, right? I'm very surprised about that. But the main thing is branding your business. Branding is not a quick thing. You can't say, I've had people tell me, here, Penny, I have $500, just do whatever you can do with $500, for the next 90 days because it's our season. And I explained to them that for branding, it's consistency. Consistency is the key. Just like if you're an athlete, you can't just get ready for the game a month before. You have to be consistent. And so that's what our branding campaigns are about. And it also makes you more trustworthy because they're seeing you month in and month out with the same story, the same brand.
Yeah, the big C word, Penny, when you're talking about marketing, consistency is the number one thing. It really is. I've seen people who didn't necessarily have like the most visually appealing advertising or really even understood very much at all about placement, branding, but because they're just so consistently getting their brand out there, getting their brand out there. They do great business. The consistency is more important than the optics. And although all those things are really important, and I know with your publication, it looks very professional. Yes, you want to look professional, obviously, but consistency cannot be underrated. If you could just figure out a way to keep your brand in front of people consistently, because most people don't do that. So you end up standing out like a sore thumb. That's why we have brands around town, Penny. We can talk about so many of them that have become household names. And it's just because they just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. That front of mind awareness and a publication like yours could be really helpful in achieving that.
Yes, I do agree. A lot of times you also want to have a positive feel when you see the brand. We always use, when I show people what we do, sometimes I talk about Red Bull. Red Bull for over a year, they were not available. They just went and did free Red Bull everywhere, different rodeo shows, different race shows or whatever, and sporting events, and they were free. You couldn't purchase it. And then once you could purchase it, people knew what Red Bull was. And I don't know if you've ever tried Red Bull. I tried it one time, not good, in my opinion. But I know what Red Bull is, right? And so for me, I know the brand. I know exactly what to expect. And so you have to stay consistent. And that's what they did. They spent over a year without even having the product available to the general public.
Along with working with a lot of small businesses from the marketing perspective with your magazine, Penny, you're also, as I had mentioned earlier, very active in the networking community here in Las Vegas. I'm a big proponent of business networking. I think it's a great way to build a business. Why do you stay so active as a networker?
For me, I love to collaborate. I'm a very creative person. And when I learn about a business, my first thing is like, ooh, who can I introduce this person to? Wow, that's really cool. What can I do with that product? So a lot of times I tell people, I would love to take that 15 minutes to meet with you. We may not be a good fit for the publication, but we can be a good referral partners. And living in Las Vegas, no matter how big and beautiful our city is, it is a referral network city. I mean, that when I mention Guy Dawson, most people are going to know Guy Dawson. You always have to be professional. You don't want to burn any bridges, and you want to collaborate with someone. Just because you're not getting the money or whatever, you never know who that person knows. And so I'm really big in building community. I'm from a small town. My dad owned a diner. But even though I was from a small town, I knew that community and that culture is that's my passion. My passion is people. And the more people I meet, the better I feel about my city, period.
Absolutely, Penny. And one of the things that I've noticed your networking style is you tend to network with groups of people. There are some people that really enjoy bringing friends along to networking events. I see that with you. Why? Well, obviously you say you're really into collaboration, so that kind of falls into that aspect of your personality. But yes, bringing friends along with you when you network, it's just good energy, right? I mean, and you're supporting
Yes.
another person in their business. They appreciate it. There's more people at the networking event because you've brought someone with you. Is that kind of your perspective on that?
You know what? Absolutely. Who wants to schedule a network event and no one be there, right? there's always opportunity to meet businesses. Sometimes I go to a small network and there might be 10 people, but that might be the right network. You know what I mean? There are a lot of network groups. For me, I believe that I net I want to work with network groups that are really professionals, because all you have to do is take one letter out of network and it's not working. So a lot of times, a lot of business owners do a lot of networking that they're kind of just spinning their wheels. And so I find the ones that I feel are solid. They're consistent. I know when they are. And they're professional and they're organized. Like your mixtures that you have are incredible. They're not only entertaining, but you always learn something, right? There's always some kind of speaker, and it's not a happy hour. It's got to be more than uh, people gathering. It's got to be some kind of set structure. And yes, I believe that something I like might not be something you like. So I always tell people I'll invite you. And then if it's a good fit, great. And if it's not a good fit, maybe I can find something, better fitted for them. Right.
Yeah, networking is an art, and Penny is someone who definitely understands the art of networking. It's a learned skill, though, right, Penny? It's yes. I mean, you are naturally an outgoing person. That's just my perception of you, which does give you an advantage. But when you're clear about what your intentions are, what your goals are, discovering what your networking style is, I agree with you. Being very targeted about where you at this stage in my networking. I mean, when I was new back in 2008 and I just had gotten started networking, I just showed up everywhere. And it was good because I did get my business out there, my personal brand along with my business, and it helped at that time. But I agree with you. I've learned through the years, I'm very selective about where I spend my time because I've got a lot of important things to do, running life, business, and so yes, you have to use your head as a networker. You really do.
Yes. I mean, I remember I have a few friends that are crazy for networking. And so they will do two or three network events, if it's on the same day. For me, it's not worth it. I can maybe do two in a day, but I want to be able to meet the people. I want to be able to sit down and absorb who I learned, who I met, who can I connect with that person. I'm always looking for connections. Like I tell people, my passion is people. I've done real estate for over 13 years, and it's all about the people. It's not only who you know, it's also how you treat other people. And you can't always just be looking about yourself, your own business. Um, it just can't be all about you, right? It's got to be building your community worth, and your reputation is very important in this town.
Yeah, that's huge, Penny. That giver's game mentality. When you show up to a networking event, yes, we're all there to get business. I mean, that's the reason behind networking. Obviously, is we want to create business. We want to make money to support our lives and our families and otherwise. But what I've discovered through the years is when you show up at the party and you're bringing something to the party, right? Everybody loves the person that comes to the party that just, maybe they bring food or maybe they bring just their personality. Some people just bring a lot to a party. And it's kind of the same way with a networking event. If you go there with the mentality of, I'm going to bring something to this event, you'll take away a lot more. It may not be immediate business, but it is your reputation, just leaving a good taste in people's mouths. And it could be years before you actually cultivate that business. But I've had experiences like that, Penny, where I've met someone and not done anything with them for years. And then you connect with them again and you left a good experience in their minds. They liked you because of the energy that you brought to the event. and then they do business with you later on. You just never know where the business is going to come from and when.
You're absolutely right, Guy. And the thing is also people change their profession, they change companies. So maybe you got the no, and that's just because it was a company policy. Maybe they liked you, they wanted to engage with you, but in that philosophy of that business philosophy did not work. And then all of a sudden, a year later, you find out, hey, you're with a new company. Oh yes, can you come back? And so I tell people how important it is to revisit, circle back around to a certain thing. You should always use some type of CRM as a business owner, because just because someone said no, it could be just no for right now, right? And the networking is the same way. I could think of a couple pest control businesses, and now the person owns his own pest control business. So maybe another opportunity. But the way you do that is, you know, have conversations with people, build relationships. I mean, that's the key to be a successful business owner, is you have to build relationships, because without relationships, you can't do it on your own. No matter how amazing you are, you're going to have to build relationships, and you're probably going to need to collaborate with other businesses.
Yeah, very well said, Penny. And along with me interviewing Penny today, part of the reason behind this broadcast is I want to introduce her as a new host at PR Connections. Penny's going to be hosting the Professionals podcast. And that's a podcast that launched in 2020, actually during COVID. Very similar to what Penny was talking about a few minutes ago. We couldn't physically go out and network during the time. I think it was April or May. Wow, 4 years. It really
Wow.
passes fast. I think it was April or May of 2020 is when I came up with this concept of the Professionals group. And I built a group over on Facebook. It was extremely interactive, still is interactive. But at that time, because we couldn't network, and I had always wanted to do online networking, but I never really had the reason to sit still to do it. And COVID gave me the reason to do it. And we started to do all types of events over there. And then I developed this podcast called The Professionals, and I started bringing through a bunch of my friends and talked about different elements of professionalism. Then I ended up passing the podcast off to several other ladies over the last couple of years who have been the hosts of it. And now our newest host is going to be Penny Tindall, a mover and a shaker and a true professional. Penny, what can we expect from you as the host of the Professionals podcast?
So it's going to be it's going to be more of an inspirational podcast. I wanted to show how local businesses connect with their community. I want to show how some businesses might collaborate and what other businesses they might want to collaborate with, maybe referral partners. I also want to celebrate milestones or opening of a new business. Being a new entrepreneur, or being a new business owner, or the new manager at some business, you really, people don't really know, right? And so I feel like we need to educate each other, we need to support each other. And I also want to put in about mindfulness. So we're also taking care of ourselves. So even though it's professionals, we also need to take care of ourselves, because if your boss is stressed out, it's going to go through uh, the whole body, right? It's going to go and evolve everybody in from the bottom, from the top up. So it's all about collaboration and business professionals having a time to spotlight what they do, and hopefully we can celebrate their business and build their brand, and grow their business too, of course.
Yes, and the professional perspectives that people offer, Penny, when you interview them. I mean, I through the years, having done the show myself and then having the other hosts and watching their shows, I mean, the way that people perceive professionalism is just so varied. One person's perception of what professionalism means can be so different from another person's. And that's what I always have enjoyed. And I think you'll enjoy as the host, is just the way that people look at professionalism and what it represents. And then being able to incorporate that in my own business and my own life. And as you had talked about, professionalism isn't just about the job that you're doing. Professionalism is about your life, because we're human. Whatever profession it is that you do, is just a part of your life. Yes, it's a big part of it, but I love that aspect that you talked about, being inspirational and teaching people professional self-care, because we tend to be very like type A personalities and just go. And that can really be damaging in your relationship.
Yeah, you get the burnout.
Right. So many ways.
It's interesting because a lot of times, when I go to a business, I might not be talking to the main business owner, right? We're called it the gatekeeper. And I always love talking to the gatekeeper of a business, because it kind of shows me the philosophy, like, is it a friendly environment? Is it a hostile environment? Is it, it lets me know kind of, also could tell me, if I want to work with them, to be honest. And so whoever you have answering the phone, they need to be professional too. I mean, it goes all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. And, that for me, that's very important, is everybody needs to be professional when they're on their job, even if they are not at the upper tier. And that's what this podcast, I'm hoping, will do also, just to get people, even the younger generation or someone starting in a new field, to kind of give them a little knowledge, maybe educate a little bit on how to stay professional, keeping it cool. Because like you said, I always said I was a workaholic, and now I realize a workaholic is a negative term. And so now I'm more about self-care. My family's always been important, but I think we all need to balance work with life, like you said. And if you have a happy life, you will probably have a happy work environment. So yes, I definitely want to make it a positive podcast, and I'm looking to meet all different types of professionals in different industries here in Las Vegas.
We're looking forward to your professional perspectives, Penny, with the new Professionals podcast that will air the first and third Wednesday of the month at, is it 10 a.m.?
So we put it for 10:15. So then we are a little off of the 10 o'clock. That way I make sure we have our guests ready to rock and roll. And we will do it for 30 minutes is the plan. And we're excited to launch it on the third Wednesday of the month, right?
Right.
So
yep. The first and third Wednesdays of the month, you'll be able to tune into the Professionals podcast with Penny Tindall. Of course, you can always go to our website, prconnectionsradio.com, to watch the archives. Penny will have her own webpage for the Professionals where you can watch past shows. And just really, I feel like I've got the perfect host, Penny. Having done this several times, I tend to be able to know when that person who I approach to be the host of that show is in the right space to do it. And I definitely feel that with the energy that you're putting out, and your belief in entrepreneurship and the way you want to help people in business, that you are the ideal host for this show.
Well, I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to it, and I truly appreciate the opportunity, Guy. You're definitely a wonderful person, business and professional, and in personal. You're a good guy, definitely.
And Penny, how can people get in contact with you? As you can see the banner here, if you want to reach out to Penny about her services with her publication or or consultation in marketing, she's definitely an excellent resource to help your business. And I just wish you nothing but continued success with what you're doing, Penny, and really looking forward to you being a part of the PR Connections family as the host of the Professionals podcast.
Thank you. Yes. Reach me via email. I check my emails. I answer my phone. I'm always available for you. If I don't have the answer right away, I will get it for you in a timely manner. And if you're interested in being on the podcast, like I said, send me an email and I will connect with you directly.
Yeah, just reach out to Penny for more details about potentially being a host, or again, if you want to do business. And we want to continue to encourage all of you to watch podcasts at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. Of course, on our social media platforms such as YouTube, if you would subscribe to our channel and click that little notification bell so that you can know when we're going live with the shows. We've got a wide array of shows here on the network, whatever your interests are, if it's sports, if it's business, community-oriented events, mental health, and we've got a lot of new shows in the works as well. So please stay tuned for our new shows, or always visit us at prconnectionsradio.com. Looking forward to seeing you all soon on another edition of PR Connections. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnections